Senate have been unwilling to compromise.
All right, here now with his Republican side on this potential gridlock, Minority Whip, Representative Roy Blunt. Good morning, sir. Here's USA Today. I don't know if you saw it. Approval of Congress at a new low. We're not stopping the headlines on that. What's your take on what's causing this?
Well, you know, I think part of the problem here is that this is a Congress that never got tired of foregone conclusions. We just kept voting on the same things over and over again that didn't produce any results. And so really, Congress has been in session more days, voted more times, and produced less than any Congress in decades. And that's not just hyperbole. The facts bear that out. The president had 107 bills on his desk by November the 1st, and 47 of them named public buildings. 44 of them everybody voted for, which means they didn't do much of anything. So really we're down to a minimal amount of work, having to roll now all of the appropriations work except for the Defense Department into one huge bill here at the end. And it's absolutely what the majority promised they wouldn't do. I think it's a disappointing session for them. And probably a disappointing session for the American people. The good news is, and the efforts made to raise taxes time after time, to increase liability, to do lots of other things, those efforts really didn't get accomplished. They would have been bad for the economy, bad for the future, and it's sad when your win is that the other side just simply can't figure out how to get their work done, but I think that's what happened here. You make the point that there's been a lot of time holding funds for troops in Iraq, holding back some funds, and we heard we needed to, to suspend our disbelief to believe the surge was working. You haven't heard that recently, I guess? Well, we haven't heard much about the surge at all recently, which I assume means it is working. You don't read anything about it on the major newspapers in the country to speak of, compared to when things were going badly in Iraq. Clearly, it's the economy now. It's the economy now, but it would be Iraq if Iraq was going badly. And Iraq is going badly. What could really hurt the economy is if, to give the alternative minimum tax relief, we'd raise $50 billion in taxes. That effort has failed. If we don't get terror risk insurance done in the next day or so, and I think we will, but we could have done this months ago. We could have had a better energy bill that really produced energy. We need to be sending some signs to the economy that the government is going to do the things that encourage economic growth rather than discourage growth. All this discussion about leveling out the difference in capital investment and earned income makes people reluctant to put their money on the table to create jobs and take risk. And we've always rewarded risk in our society by assuming that risky things that you did had a different kind of tax consequence than non-risky things. And all year the Democrats have talked about raising the capital gains rate, eliminating lots of types of partnership taxes that have created lots of activity. That's had impact, just as the failure to have an energy bill that produces more energy has had economic impact. All right, so I guess one of the reasons that this USA Today story is not surprising is that it seems like there's a lot of politics on both sides of the aisle. We play politics. We don't get, we wait forever with the AMT. But is the AMT going to go without paying for it? That's finally going to happen, but it took a long time, right? I think so. It took too long. It took so long that it really will have impact on how people pay their taxes this year, how quickly they get their refunds back. People that traditionally have actually used their tax refund as a forced way for savings to help pay Christmas bills or help pay winter heating costs are likely not to get that refund at the same time because they're going to have to now restructure all of the tax tables, which means people can't file as quickly, and it's going to slow the whole process down. We've certainly done this AMT patch before, but the Republican Congresses, after we failed to repeal the AMT in 1999, always got the annual modification of the AMT done by June so that it wouldn't have any impact on the actual tax paying and refund process. We're going to see those refunds delayed by weeks this year, by 6 or 7 weeks by most estimates, and that's going to have some economic impact on families in the winter and spring months as well. The energy bill, not a single watt of new energy? No new energy in the energy bill, a huge disappointment. Even what was done on energy, our friends on the other side could have had a fairly easy win, but they had to have a big tax package in there that would have decreased domestic production. This idea that the oil companies are not going to produce in this country unless there's a reason to produce in this country just doesn't make sense. And if you tax production here, all you do is force those jobs and that production somewhere else. We ought to tax production, but not at a rate above every other manufacturing thing that's done in the country.
All right, Senator Lieberman endorsed John McCain yesterday. Are you ready to help us out here and get on the record?
No, I'm focused on seeing what we can do to win these seats back. We lost in the last election, and some more to take the House back. John McCain, Joe Lieberman are both great guys. I think any of our candidates, as they emerge now, is going to be, frankly, benefited by the fact that Democrats took the majority in the House and Senate, and once again we're talking about the difference in Democrats and Republicans rather than whether we're happy with the Republicans or not. We're going to do better in an election that's about us and them than we did an election that was just about us.
All right, Congressman, we appreciate your time today.
Good to be with you.
All right, my thanks to Minority Whip Roy Blunt, and we'll let both sides.